And I'm looking at you, right? Okay, good.
So just first, your name, title, and the front.
Pat Tambori. I'm a project executive on the K-Bridge demolition.
All right, tell me the broad scope of work for Cambridge. So what did we do first, and then now what are we doing?
Okay, the first phase of the project is a new bridge was built between Brooklyn and Queens. That opened up to traffic at the end of April, and now we're in the phase of demolishing the existing bridge.
And how do we do that? How do we take down this old bridge?
We're gonna do this in two phases. First, we're gonna lower main span onto barges into Newtown Creek and sail it out. Right now, we're scheduled to do that July 13th, and then the rest of the approach, the superstructure, will be imploded using energetic felling, and then after that, it's just a lot of steel processing and concrete cleanup, and that'll take us through the end of right before Thanksgiving.
What's happening right now? What's been the prep work to get ready for the main span lowering? What will happen that day?
Okay.
We'll come back and we'll have the footage of all of that. So just kind of walk me through what we'll be seeing.
Okay, so traffic was switched at the end of April, so we got access to the existing bridge on May 1. A few of the first things we did was prep the roadway for demolition, meaning we milled all the asphalt off, we removed the centerline concrete barrier, we took overhead sign structures down. Once that was done, that was about 2 weeks worth of work, we started building our temporary false work. So we build temporary towers on each side that connect into the existing structures. We use 8 strand jacks to connect to the bridge itself. And then once that's all set up and ready, we actually lower it down onto barges in the creek.
Just walk me through that. That's like it's not like a fast lower. You just drop it. How long does that take to lower it down?
To physically lower, once we push the button, is about 6 hours. So with all the coordination we have to do with U.S. Coast Guard and the stakeholders up and down Newtown Creek, it's typically, I think it'll take us about 18 hours, soup to nuts, where we hit the button, we start lowering, then we have to, once it's on the barge, we have to lash it down and secure it. We move it from underneath the existing structure, what's left of it. We turn the barge and we sail out Newtown Creek, and that bridge is going to Jersey City. So that'll probably take a total of 18 hours to do.
And again, this video, some of the stuff I ask you will seem obvious. It's for a general audience, for the community, for whoever's watching it. Why don't we just blow up the main span like we did the rest of the bridge?
Well, Newtown Creek is what they call a Superfund site, so it probably wouldn't add to the pollution of Newtown Creek, but they don't want to contaminate the environment any more than it is. You know, the bridge still has old paint on it. Some of it is new paint, but some of it is old lead paint. So, plus, if we blew up the existing bridge, it would probably be months of cleaning it up out of the creek, and we can't close the creek down for that much. We have a 2-day window with the Coast Guard. So, as far as main span goes, this was the safest, most obvious method to use.
How common is this? So for the New York area, how often do we build new bridges and take down old bridges?
Not very often. You know, this is, I'm sure everybody knows already, K-Bridge is the first cable stay bridge in New York, right? So it was the first one open to traffic, right? They're building 2 more right now, but you know, this one here is the first one open to traffic. So new bridges in general are uncommon. Cable stays are even more rare, but they look really nice. It improves the skyline a lot. It's a much nicer looking bridge.
Beautiful. Okay, so for a demolition of this size, and kind of where you are in this congested environment, what are the top challenges for what we're trying to do right now?
Top challenges is definitely engineering and logistics. So engineering wise, even the different means and methods we're using to take the bridge down, main span we're lowering, the approaches we're felling, and then all the cleanup still takes a tremendous amount of planning and engineering. We've been at it for about a year. You know, we started the planning process a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, and we're still making tweaks to our means and methods to try to get better, more efficient, and faster. But engineering is one, logistics is another. Anytime you work inside New York City, you could look around the area. It's traffic logistics is an issue. not only that, just finishing the new contract, or not the new contract, the new bridge, while taking down the old one right next to it. You know, we're in some places we're 20 feet apart. So there's a lot of coordination that has to be done with operations that are finishing up the new bridge, and then our operations of demoing the existing bridge.
And from a broader perspective, on the point of coordination, the stakeholders are you dealing with? Just kind of give a sense of that, like
Well,
even with just getting the date secured, right? Like,
there's different groups of stakeholders for different things. Okay, so now for lowering main span, we actually went and knocked on the doors of every company up and down Newtown Creek to tell them, hi, we're SKE and we're going to be lowering main span at some date next summer. And we started this process 8 months ago probably. You know, how does this impact your business? And we had face-to-faces with them and phone calls, so once we got all of their approval to block the creek for 2 days, then we went to the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard takes a minimum of 4 months to approve any plan like this. So we started this process last summer, contacting stakeholders for the main span lowering, as well as Coast Guard. Now there's other stakeholders for felling when we blow up the bridge. And those are, some are commercial, some are residential. So again, we also met with the community more than once. So again, we knocked on the door of everyone in the area, residents and businesses, and we tell them what we're planning and what their concerns are. Those are the people above ground. Now, all the stakeholders below ground, which are all the utilities, Con Ed, SOAR, Buckeye Pipeline, which is a fuel line for LaGuardia Airport. Long Island Railroad has a track that we're going to have to block. So all of these stakeholders, again, this is stuff we started in October, reaching out to them, countless meetings with them. How does this affect your business? What can you live with? What can we do? And after they're all on board, then we start with the city agencies, OEM, city DOT, state DOT. It's the list goes on and on. So it's a very challenging process for me anyway.
Okay. And speaking of the community, what's your sense of how the community feels about all this? About the new bridge, about the old bridge coming down? We see a lot of Facebook activity for viewing parties and taking down the bridge.
Yeah.
What's
So I think they're very excited about the new bridge, and the community meetings I've gone to, they're very vocal about it in a good way. You know, they're upfront about what their concerns are, very upfront about if they think we're doing something wrong, but also if we're doing something right. So they're very involved, and their feedback has been pretty positive. You know, it's always a painful process when there's a construction project of this size in your backyard. So we have regular meetings with them. We listen to what their concerns are. They're very excited that the new bridge is finally open. They're excited that the old one is going to come down, but they're also concerned about noise, dust, what streets we're going to block. So it's, you know, we have to be aware of this because this is their neighborhood. They live here.
And I should have asked you at the beginning, but real quick, just for again, maybe a broader audience that's not from the New York area that's watching this, why did the state decide to replace the bridge? Was it just aesthetics? Like, what was wrong with the old bridge? Why do we need to replace the bridge?
Well, the existing bridge was, 80 years old, plus or minus, and it's in a state of disrepair. You can just see that by looking at it. Not to mention the fact that traffic in this area is extremely heavy. Another reason they did it, if you look at the new bridge, the elevation is actually lower. It's a lower profile, so it improves line of sight for trucks, which, when you're approaching a hill that you can't see behind, everyone slows down, which is part of why there's such a bottleneck in this area. So the new bridge was built to address some of those concerns, not only the age and condition of the new bridge, but also safety concerns with with traffic. And then in the next phase of this development, they're actually going to build a second bridge right next to it. So there's 6 lanes in each direction. So that should relieve a lot of some of the congestion in this area.
And will the new one also have pedestrian and bike?
I believe so. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe so.
Okay. All right. Anything unique or innovative that we did here that's different, or that we had to come up with, or it's kind of standard?
There has been nothing standard about taking this bridge down. The strand jack system is relatively common in the industry. Strand jacks that's the equipment we use this size are not. The existing bridge itself weighs about 5 million pounds. So we have to do this in a very controlled manner over the course of a day to sail it out. So this work has been performed in other places, maybe not on this scale. So not that, combined with the fact that Newtown Creek is called a creek for a reason. It's only about 12 feet deep. There's not a lot of clearance for barges of this size and a bridge of this size to get out. So that was another challenge. Actually, once the bridge is down, that's only half of it. We actually have to get it to Jersey City. So that's a big challenge also, and something we put a lot of time and effort into planning.
Right, great. Okay, we did that.
And we're imploding a bridge in New York for the first time ever. So that was a unique challenge also.
You didn't tell me that before. That's the first time ever?
This is the first time we're doing an overhead. And they've used explosives for underground work in New York City. They've even imploded buildings like Governor's Island. This, to my knowledge, this is the first time we're doing an overhead bridge structure using energetic felling or imploding the bridge. We did that for a lot of different reasons.
Okay, so all of that planning, a lot of coordination goes into it. What will the disruption to the community be like in those couple of phases, those couple of days of demo work?
Well, the main span, the impact to the community is relatively minor. It's more the people the businesses up and down Newtown Creek, and even then, it's only a couple of days. As far as everything else, it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's redirecting of traffic. There's noise. There's dust. Nothing that is new to construction activities, with the exception of the energetic felling. We're using explosives to bring the bridge down all at once. So that's being coordinated on a weekend when businesses aren't open, when traffic is relatively light, and it's done in a very specific window under supervision of the fire department of about 2 hours. So the impact should be relatively minimal. It's more of a challenge getting everyone on board and explaining the process and how this is really best for everyone, and it really is. Using the felling will severely decrease the impact of the activity. If we had to take this bridge down with conventional means, we'd be here a lot longer.
Personally, for you, having worked on Rick, you have been here since the beginning because we were with you
No.
at the World Trade Center.
No, I came on about a year ago specifically for demolition. I haven't been involved with the new bridge at all.
Okay. All right, so what's next generally for the project? I know where our scope of work ends, but you kind of touched on it before, but just once this one comes down, what's next for the new bridge going up?
Well, that's a separate contract, so I don't really know what the first steps are. So once this bridge is down and all the debris is cleared up, which is November 20th, right before Thanksgiving, then we have a 3-month period for a punch list and final acceptance. The new contract starts probably in the next couple of months or so. So we'll have some coordination with the next contractor coming on to build the second bridge. No, we didn't. I don't know, should I say that on camera? You can edit it, right?
Yeah.
No, it was they announced it a couple of days ago. Granite Construction got it. Yeah, it's too bad.
On their own? No JV?
I don't know if they were a JV. I think on their own.
Okay, that's it. You're done?
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so